I was on YouTube the other day, and one of the algorithms presented a person who watches movie trailers and shows a picture of himself watching. I don't know what that's about. But the trailer that came up was for a movie that I had written called My Life. And I thought, hmm, okay, I don't think I'd see the trailer in 20 or 30 years. So I decided to watch it. And found myself getting incredibly emotional. Did not expect that. It's an emotional movie, but the trailer just spoke to me. And at the end, there's a little slogan that they put on the trailer, which was also on the poster that I had nothing to do with. But it appeared at the very end of the trailer, and it said, "Every moment counts." And I broke out into sobbing tears, which I never do, because I knew that was true in ways that are impossible to understand, literally impossible, because it's not cognitive. Every moment counts. Interestingly enough, I have my posters on a wall going down to the basement where uh, Blanche and I tend to watch TV and movies. And my boys framed my posters for me in the last house, but I put them here. As I'm walking down, I looked at another one, which was Ghost, and the poster, again, not my doing, just said, "Believe." And another film, Deep Impact, it just said, "Hope survives." And even Brainstorm said something about the mind is not what we think it is. It was really intriguing to me, um, that this world that I entered for a big period of my life, which I've tried to explain to people is no longer resonant in most ways. I don't reflect on it. I don't think about it. The big dump that I did some years ago, that a whole part of my brain fell out, was mostly Hollywood. And so I don't have a strong reaction to being identified as a person who was part of all that. And I think I've described my journey as a writer as being mostly as a secretary taking dictation. The best scripts were delivered. They just came through and I just typed as fast as I could. So I don't walk around with anything other than gratitude that these things poured forth. And it's not unlike the teaching phenomenon where there's no Bruce sitting here doing this. They couldn't care less about Bruce. It's just someone who decided or was programmed to get out of the way. And this energy flows through. And in a sense, you are and always have been, meaning you and I have always been a expression of something vast and infinite. We don't always think of that. We think of ourselves in very egoistic, small terms and very much reflecting me, I. But the spiritual journey, which is so exquisite, really is letting that go or recognizing that it never had to come into play in the first place. This idea that I am this or I am that is a programmed experience. Your parents program you, your teachers programming you, and in a way, life programs you. And not many things get in the way to say, no, 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 no. It's not really what you are. You really are infinite and vast and eternal. Nothing is programming you that way that I know of. But if you're lucky, this radiance from within you will try wherever it can to poke through the illusion of your separateness and announce to you that you are an expression of infinite beauty and joy and eternal being. Not a lot of people get that message. Why you guys are sitting here is completely self-determined on your end. I don't know why you brought yourself to this table, but I will tell you something inside you sparked you, radiated in you, and decided to say, pay attention. This is a remarkable thing because you probably know a lot of people who have not done that, who have not paid attention for lots and lots of reasons. And there's nothing to be said about it. Certainly, you don't judge it. You don't go, oh, that poor person or that terrible person, because they are a manifestation of this exquisite, vast reality. Whether they are a good expression or a bad expression, or whether they are perfect or imperfect, is none of your business. It's their business. And in some perfect world, they will wake up to who they truly are. That would be an exquisite realization. Waking up to who you are and how you serve is, is extraordinarily wonderful. And part of what I am having as an experience of aging, meaning I have had 60 plus years of meditation and sitting and searching and reaching and allowing and opening and becoming available. All of these years of work and effort, as Rudy would put it, have begun to show themselves in ways that I can only tell you await you if you are ready and open and available. And the simplest version of it is waking up in the morning from a bad night's sleep, because nothing prevents you from suffering and pain and the difficulty of being in a body. But you wake up and you sit on the edge of the bed, and there is an inexpressible joy that you are, that you exist, that you're here, that you're alive, that you're in a body. Totally trite, totally trite. God knows people talked about this kind of thing from time immemorial. But when it happens to you and you start to realize, wow, wow, everything, everything is worth it. Everything that has happened to you in your entire existence is worth sitting up and going, wow. There's a joy that filters in. There's an awareness that you are witnessing something ineffable and beyond grasp, but so beautiful, and it needs you, wants you, has created you to become aware of it. You might say to become aware of itself, which is sort of how I look at it. But even if you just look at it as being aware of life, of being aware of the blue sky outside or the gray sky or the trees and the, whatever, the building across the way, whatever it may be that you see when you wake up in the morning, having an awareness of being present in that space is such an exquisite awareness. And I would say there are probably multitudes of people who don't have that. My experience in relating to that is what I would call empathy and compassion. I feel nothing but a huge desire to try to present that to them. It's done through love and kindness. You can't shove it down their throat. You can't say, what's wrong with you? Why don't you see this? Why aren't you aware of this? It's nothing like that. It's being the very thing itself in the presence of the other. Be the radiance that you are. Fill the space around you. Fill the world around you. You don't have to go at it with a blowtorch. You don't have to make it overly dynamic and dramatic. It's so simple. Touch, hold, embrace, feel, give, share, be present. That's really the totality of this spiritual journey. And everyone who's trying to work it and get there and make it happen and all that, I can only tell you, you're all secretaries taking notes. You're just doing what you're told, better or for worse. If you do what you're told and you are really responsive, you will be used more. The universe is looking for the fire hydrants that can put out fires. They're looking for the hose that can water gardens. They're looking for the being that can share its radiance with the world around it. That's what the universe or what radiance itself wants. It just wants you to become an expression of itself, or if you want to call it yourself. Just be that. If you are not doing that, if you're frustrated and angry and this isn't going your way and this isn't going your way, and you just want to get out of this or whatever that is, you're losing the meaning and the point of your existence. You know, this idea that my cousin Betsy expresses, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm telling you, get used to it. What are you going to do? Take it as it comes. It's there for whatever reason. You know, today I had this experience of trying to put my watch on and I couldn't get the right hole in the band, and all these little things were going wrong. I mean, stupid little things. And I suddenly had this experience of when my parents used to play with me, and they would do these things to make me go, "Oh, don't do that, don't do that." And it was actually, it always became funny. And today I felt I was being played with. I didn't get angry. I didn't get hostile. I didn't go, "Why can't things work right?" I just felt played with in a way that was like a 4-year-old. And it was really simple and it was really beautiful. The problem with everything I'm saying is, okay, so that's a nice place to get to. What am I doing with my life, my spiritual life? What am I sitting for every day? You know, trying to open and become and arrive at. I mean, it's actually a good question. Why are you doing it? You know, I did it. You know, I sat, you all know the story. I sat for 44 years every day, literally every day, never missed a day. And then I said, what am I doing? And I just kept thinking, I'm just trying to get somewhere. Why haven't I gotten there after 44 years? And so I tried this experience or an experiment. I stopped sitting. I just stopped cold. And 2 weeks later, as you know the story, I had this awakening that there was, in a way, no Bruce to get to anything. There was just being. It's a long story. Read my book. You know, I'm not going to go into it here, but it's a kind of a fascinating story because the part of us that's trying to get to this moment of sitting up in the morning and going is both a real effort, a real part of your existence, and also, in a way, um, more about the intention than it is about the reality. If you want to wake up to who you are and what you are and have always been and will always be, that's a great driving force in life. If you sit still every day and try to find that, there will come a point where you will go, who is trying to find this? And you will realize, as I did, the person trying to get there is the problem itself. And I've talked about this before, but it's the ego body construct that wants comfort and pleasure and satisfaction and to get rid of pain and disturbance. And that very thing is the problem because it's the one thing that you need to go, what are you going to do? You got a body, you got pain, you got to deal with this stuff. You got to get up in the morning, you got to go to work, you got to, or do nothing, whatever you have to, whatever you find. It's when that becomes absorbed and you go, okay, okay. It's fascinating because it's so exquisitely beautiful and it's never not been there. The only thing that's not there, in a way, is you. So this entire spiritual operation that you're involved in, this kind of digging inside, is to find that space that will release you and then to release the person who's looking. That's the hard part. Get rid of the person who's trying to get there and then realize, as you will, because it's realization, oh, this is it. The totality is it. The body is it. The mind is it. The frustration is it. The struggle is it. It's all encompassed. And you go, oh, well, what are you going to do? Fuck it. That really is, it's the ultimate teaching. And you just go. And there's something wildly beautiful about it, just wildly beautiful. And sometimes it's not wildly beautiful. Sometimes it's really it's really painful. It really hurts. And I'm amazed because, I'm at an age where pain starts to become more and more of a part of the process and will for everybody if you live long enough. Discomfort, weird stuff, bizarre stuff. And yet you wake up in the morning, I don't know why, there's sunlight coming in the window if you're lucky, or at least light, and you go, oh, and you take in the whole, the totality of all the stuff you are and everyone around you. You stop being angry at them, you stop being angry at yourself. You just go, oh. And I will tell you, the core feeling is this unbelievable love, just unbelievable love that pours forth. And if you have a partner in your life, or even just have you as a partner, you will love who you are and you will love the people you are with. Everyone will benefit. Everyone in your life will benefit. I have loved my wife from the minute I met her, but I've never loved her more than now, ever. I cannot explain it. Blanche is like, I kissed her foot this morning. I mean, I don't know what to say or do that allows her to know how grateful I am for the life we have had together. And it has moments of stress and difficulty, and we're both going through stuff because of getting old, but we're talking about it and we're laughing about it and we're enjoying it. And we are in a real dynamic of continual warmth and exchange that has like flowered from 57 years of being together. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. You have a life that flowers and opens. Yes, it will be all the things you don't want and all the difficulties. And like my cousin Betsy says, what are you going to do? That's a really great teaching. It's a really great teaching. What are you going to do? Step in, open to it, and something will happen. Something will happen. You know, that's I was talking to Anne yesterday, and she said the Beatles had were when they were the foursome, and when they were on a tour going somewhere, and their bus ended up in a ditch, and they were freezing, and it was a cold night, and one of them, I think, Paul McCartney said something's going to happen, or maybe John Lennon, something will happen. It's always like that. It's not like you have to make it happen. Something will happen, one way or the other. It will keep happening. Live that life of things happening. Enter the picture, be one with it, and realize there's nobody to fight what's present tense in your life. You are a remarkable being that has been created in time and space to experience and touch the reality that created you and created itself. And it's all one exquisite thing, and sometimes miserable thing, but it's one thing. And when you start to connect to that without me and it, but just go, ah, you are that. I am that. There you are. The journey we're on is towards something very simple, not complex. It's not an arrival at something that isn't already there. It's not like you have to make this thing happen. It's not like if you do this every day for the rest of your life, you'll finally get there. You're there. If you can go pop, and you will one day, you'll go, huh, and you will wake up with great joy. You will realize that even you have put stuff into the world. Mine, luckily, is on posters, so it says every moment counts. Believe, hope survives. I had nothing to do with that, but it speaks to me and it's part of the journey I've been on. And I feel this has been a great, wonderful embrace. All I can say is I am so thankful for the life that's been given for each of you, because you are all expressions of it, and because you've shown up here to be receptors of this exquisite kind of informational space that tells you you are a gift to the universe. You are right this second. And if you don't feel it, I hope if we sit long enough and do this properly and regularly, you will finally go, ah, that's what he was saying. And that'll be great. If it doesn't happen, what do they say? The Buddhists, the Hindus, you'll come back and do it again. You'll figure it out. But it ain't that hard, guys. It ain't that hard. Just open your eyes, take a breath, and go, thank you. The end. Questions. Anybody got questions? Good. I mean, I can't see everybody, so if you either speak up or I'm going to say no questions. Okay. I'm gonna say no questions. Let me just say, next week will be an in-person class in New York at my home. We had at one point talked about it as a retreat and a pilgrimage, which got shut down. I sent you all an email about that. Some of you wonder why. It has nothing to do with the class. It has to do with the organization that runs uh, the space that we were going to use at the near Rudy's Shrine. The organization there had its own issues, so they're not in operation right at this moment, and so we had to cancel. So my apologies. Please forgive me for interrupting that process. Maybe next year, if all goes well, we will try it again. But you know, pilgrimages are physical and they're also spiritual, and you can do them in your heart. And if you want to take a journey in your heart to any place that goes, thank you, it's worth it. Bye, guys.